have issues taking your dog for a walk? Are they constantly pulling? Or do you have problems when you say, let's go for a WALK because your dog gets too excited? It's no secret that dogs love walks, but walks aren't just for fun, they're essential for their health. And you're probably making a few mistakes when you go for a stroll with your best friend. In today's video, I'm going to address the top 3 errors that people make and give you a step-by-step guide to walking your dog properly. Oh, and stick around until the end when I'm going to be recommending my favorite products for walking with your dog. Let's start with mistake number 1. Not having the correct equipment: a harness, a leash, a treat pouch, treats, and a clicker. The right equipment will help set you up for success. You want to avoid any aversive equipment or techniques. Aversives are things that punish and try to stop or decrease behaviors. Anytime we use approaches or tools whose goal it is to eliminate behaviors, we run the risk of additional problems. Examples of aversive tools include shock collars, prong collars, or choke chains, some of which have been banned in other countries. Punitive or aversive tools come with dangerous side effects, including apathy, aggression, escape avoidance, and generalized fear, none of what we want for our dogs. These dangerous tools don't teach the dog what to do. For example, a dog might not pull with a prong collar, but they're not pulling to avoid the pinch of the collar. Mistake number 2 is where we're training where there are too many distractions, we're moving too quickly, or we're moving at a pace that the dog is just not comfortable. These are known as the 3 Ds of training: distance, duration, and distraction. You always want to start training in the easiest version. For example, with loose leash walking, this might be starting that walk training in your living room. It's also really important to only increase one aspect at a time. So for example, if you're looking to do more steps, that's duration, then you may temporarily want to reduce your distraction level. So again, when we increase one component, we temporarily reduce the others so that it's just not too difficult all at once. Lastly, the final dog walking mistake is a lack of patience and consistency, which are the keys to dog walking and dog training success. There's no magic to loose leash walking. Keep in mind that you want to avoid moving forward with a tight leash, because otherwise you're probably going to inadvertently reinforce that pulling behavior. Also, just remember that every time you go for a walk, you're training, because training equals education and communication. So with every interaction, you're training something. So every time you put on your harness and leash and you practice your walk, this is training. So you want to make it count. Here's your 5-step guide to loose leash walking. Number 1, start off with your dog feeling comfortable with a harness and leash. This is the balance harness. Henry, yes. So I'm just marking for her orienting, and I'm going to reinforce through the loop. Notice she's not backing away, so we'll keep going. Yes. I'm using the verbal marker yes to pair with the reinforcer. So yes, and then I reinforce the behavior that I want to see continue. This time I'm going to drop the treat down on the floor. That gives me the opportunity to, yes, continue to put her harness on. I'm holding this so it doesn't wiggle all around and potentially scare her. Now I can buckle both sides. She's not moving away. That indicates to me, yes, that she's comfortable with this process. Number 2, begin in a low distraction environment like your living room. I'm going to take 1 step. If the leash is loose, I'm going to mark and reinforce. I'm going to attach another link for a further explanation of marking and reinforcing, but basically we're looking for behavior that we want, we're marking it, in this case with a clicker, and then I'm reinforcing so that behaviors that we mark and then reinforce will be repeated. So I'm just going to take 1 more step. If my leash is loose, I'm marking, and then I'm going to reinforce that behavior. So again, my only criteria is loose leash, yes or no. If yes, mark, and then reinforce. Note 2, I'm reinforcing right next to me because that keeps the leash nice and loose. Now we're gonna move outside and work on step number 4. So now we've moved outside and we're competing with all of the environmental reinforcers. smells, sights, sounds. So this is definitely a more distracting environment. So we can do one of two things. First of all, we can move forward, walking, and I can, just like inside, mark and reinforce for a loose leash. My only criteria right now is a loose leash. As long as my leash is loose, I'm gonna take a step forward and mark and reinforce for that loose leash. Let's go ahead again. My leash is loose. I'm gonna take a step forward and mark and reinforce for that loose leash. One more time. If my leash is loose, I'm gonna take a step forward, mark, and note I'm reinforcing right next to my leg, reinforce for that loose leash. So sometimes when we're outside, all of the environmental reinforcers are more distracting. We have sights and sounds and smells, and they might be more important to my dog than the treats I have. So again, my only criteria is a loose leash. Let's say my leash is not loose. All I'm gonna do, because I don't wanna move forward, that would reinforce the pulling, I'm gonna gently take a few steps back. Now my leash is loose. I'm gonna use the opportunity to move forward as the reinforcer. So again, if my leash is loose, I'm gonna keep walking forward. Let's say my leash becomes tight. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna gently walk backwards, and as soon as it's loose, I'm gonna use the opportunity to move forward as the reinforcer. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the products that I recommend to use when walking your dog include, this is the balance harness. It was designed by a trainer who specializes in movement, so it doesn't restrict anything or put any pressure on the neck. And if you need any help teaching your dog to wear a harness comfortably, I'll put the link below to a video I did on that. You also want to use a leash that's 6 feet or longer. I really like biothane leashes as they're comfortable on your hands and easy to keep clean. The Doggone Good treat pouch is my go-to. It's easy to get your hand in and out to deliver treats effectively. And lastly, a clicker is a great idea, either with a wrist coil or the rink style. If you've made it this far and you're struggling to train your dog, or even you're just starting out with training, I wrote the 10 Minute a Day Dog book just for folks like you. I'll leave the link in the description.